Trusty Ape. Today is Wednesday, September the 4th, 2024. That's not what we want to do. Oh yeah, probably be helpful if I did this on.
Okay. This is just a matter if it freezes up, because this is what it is done most of the time.
Do they have the internet people there now?
See if it freezes.
So far, it's okay. It wants to focus on your face because you're closer to it, so it kind of glitched there a little bit.
We're just gonna rock.
Yes.
That's better than what we had.
Well,
are you gonna try it? Oh, never mind. Yeah.
What's up, CC? Good to see you. It's been a long, busy couple of days, man. We had a session on Sunday, and then a session on Monday with the Trusty Apes, and it was pretty rocking.
Hello everyone.
We didn't get any
So
of that
in
shit.
this video,
we got the
I
session
want
on
to
Sunday
start
recorded.
discussing about
But we didn't get any of
enlightenment.
Monday's session
So ideally,
recorded,
you
but we're
should
playing,
have already watched the video with the
this
introduction.
Sunday,
So the video introduction
the
to
8th,
enlightenment, and the
at
video
the
about
boardwalk
what
in
enlightenment is
Armtrail,
not.
and
So you should have already
so
a
we were
basic
just kinda
idea
getting
that
geared
basically
up
what
for
they
that
call
set,
enlightenment is really
and
just the
we ended up doing
process
some
of
pretty
realizing.
badass improv stuff, dude. I was really feeling it. It's been a while since we really just cut loose like that. But as it goes, paid for it later, you know. And it wreaked havoc on my body. You don't really think about it when you're hooting and hollering and screaming at the top of your lungs, and you don't do that all the time, you know. Especially doing 2 days back to back. Yeah, it's a lot. So, yeah, it's been, yesterday I was just like pretty much in bed all day recuperating.
For about 6 of those years, I think. Well, friends with Shanny for 6 of them. Friends with Red for probably 4, maybe 4.5 of those, or whatever. If you want to call it that.
There we go.
And I stopped being friends with them because I felt like they were using me for money and for different things or whatever.
You thought?
But I want to talk about the Hussey interview a little bit. I'm going to do some exposing here a little bit, and I'm going to talk about what I think about the entire situation. And I talked about this briefly on my channel. I think that Miss Hussey is a conduit, and I believe that Miss Hussey is being used by other people.
I'm trying to... My screen got wet last night, so... 2 days of screaming is hard on the old voice box. Yeah, it is.
To come across as being caring and nice toward an individual, but in reality, she's being used to get information out of people. There was another person in the community that was being used like Hussey, and I remember this. It was what's her name? It was this psychologist that was around during the summer G-Man days. Her name was I don't even remember her name. That's messed up. She used to wear them big glasses. She was a little pretty, but she was the atheist.
She was just a little pretty?
No, but I forget her name, but she was being used as a conduit. But she was psychologically evaluating people during the time. I had a debate with her on a Modern Day Debate one time. Or if you want to,
I'm not gonna venture to guess who that was.
But that was more like an aggressive conversation if you think about it. And you can go on Modern Day Debate. You can go on Modern Day Debate. You can actually see it for yourself.
He fucking what is going on with him? His mic's all popping. He just keeps. Never mind.
That's neither here nor there. I think that Miss Hussey's being used as a conduit to to try to get information out of people. And the first interview, it was obvious when that happened. They ask one easy question and then one hard question, one easy question and then one hard question. And the reason why I'm talking like this is because I just want this community to know I'm not stupid. Okay. They ask one easy question, one hard question, one easy question, one hard question, and sometimes two easy questions and then a hard question. But anyway, the first interview they did, Rev, Jason was all happy that he was talking to somebody that he admired on the internet. Even went so far to giving Miss Hussey
I just like people out here to know that I'm not stupid, all right?
a picture of his baby carrot, if that's what people call it or whatever on here, his private part or whatever. And they were just
They
loving
switched
on
it
Miss
up on
Hussey.
me. They switched from the easy question, and then they did the hard question. Then they went back to the other easy question.
Loving on Miss Hussey. So they had a second interview. Now, before the second interview, Hussey was making all of these videos, like going in on Shannon, having guests like Alex on the show, and other people on the show. And all you got to do is just cut your computer on Shanny and go look at what people really think about you and why they think that way about you. Now, an interview format is different. An interview format is different in the sense that when the interviewer is asking you a question, the interviewer doesn't care if you're some interviewers anyway, some of them, not all of them. But the interviewer will ask you a question and they won't care if they believe you're telling the truth or not. So a lot of times these interviews are done so that the interviewer can get to know you better, the network can get you better, the audience can know you better, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So Shanny blew a perfectly good opportunity to try to get the audience to get to know her better. She completely and totally blew it. I think Jason was going to take more advantage of it because he feels like, it's unfortunate, but he still believes he has a legitimate opportunity here on on YouTube. And it's sad because when you give somebody hope and then you take it away, which is coming, it's sad, but that's what's happening. But then Shanny didn't want to answer questions that was being brought forth. If I was in her position and people was asking me questions like this,
Christ,
it's
like a
either
fucking in-depth deep dive here.
control them back or just answer it and then move on. Like you could tell them peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and move on. Or you can tell them almond joy and move on.
Somebody recently offered me peanut butter and banana sandwiches. I was like, psh, I should have taken that shit. But I don't think I've ever even had a peanut butter and banana sandwich before.
Like honestly, like you don't gotta sit
Can
there
you truly
and run
live if you've never eaten a peanut butter and banana sandwich?
and confirm that a lot of people already don't trust you and don't believe you and know that you're lying. You had an opportunity, a golden opportunity, to go on there and to show proof, and of course they didn't take the time to do that. And one of the funniest things I heard in that interview is how Medicaid can't cover what they actually need. Shanny, if you're watching this, let me explain something to you, okay? Your Medicaid, if not all of the costs, it will definitely take care of most of the liposuction that you need. And the Medicaid will certainly help you with any...
Just go on a diet. What is it with all these fucking chicks now? They want to get liposuction. Like, they want a fucking lap bandage. Just fucking eat better and walk. Like, seriously. I don't know. Like, certainly there's people with fucking, like, legit disorders where they might need that type of shit. Peanut butter, banana, and honey sandwich is delicious. All right. I'm going to have to give that a shot. I need to, expand my my palate a little bit. I've been eating more seafood lately. Like, over the past, I'd say 8 months, 10 months or so, because I really didn't eat seafood before that, and I've been eating like seaweed wraps and a couple other things. So I'm really kind of trying to expand in that direction. But yeah, like fruit's another one. Like I've got these dried pear slices because I've been doing this for side work, picking and drying fruit. And I'm like, man, like I eat a lot of vegetables, but I don't really eat a lot of fruit. Probably be good to get into my diet. It's more of that natural sugar or whatever. But yeah, this other chick I was talking to, like, said she wanted to get like the section and a lap band and shit. And I was like, you're not even that big, like she's, a little bit overweight, but not that much. I was like, it seems kind of extreme to me. Yeah, I just try to encourage people to walk, man.
depression that you have, because you could probably see a therapist for free.
Yeah.
A real one. I ain't talking about Google. Google doesn't count as a therapist. If Jason needed counseling, he'd be surprised. To tell you the truth, he doesn't even need Medicaid. He needs a church membership. That's what he needs. But
Medicaid, isn't that for
people
like retired people?
gave him places that he could have went to, and he could have went to
That's Medicare. I got
in the
those. That's right. Medicare. Medicaid is the other one.
city, as he said. But he doesn't like to go in the city, so he's not going to go into the city to get help, which means he doesn't really want help. And I've been criticizing them about this for God knows how long, that they won't get uncomfortable long enough to fix their life. One of the questions that Hussey asked them that I thought was interesting was like, the kids ain't there no more. What have you actually been doing for yourself? And all they did was confirm that they're doing jack squat diddly.
It's like when I was in these fucking nutrition classes. Let me see if they keep eating like a horse, that surgery won't do any good. Yeah. I think the whole purpose of the lap band is because it like makes you full, right? Like, so you literally can't stuff any more food, but it seems like if you were just eating appropriately and exercising appropriately, it's like there's some rule. I was listening to somebody talk about how it's like called the 3/4 rule, right? And it means like anytime you eat, like you shouldn't eat until you feel full. Like you should only eat until you feel like you're about 3/4 of the way there. And that's like some trick for longevity from like Eastern culture or something like that. Yeah, it tends to be like, because like when you overeat, like you start feeling like sluggish, it puts you into a food coma. So like, I found when I was in all these like nutrition classes and shit that, when they do the whole part of like, oh, well, what's your diet like? What's your exercise like? And I'd start checking all the boxes and be like, oh, like my diet, my exercise are pretty good. The only thing I really need to cut out of this is like alcohol and weed, and then, seemingly like all the rest of that shit is like, oh yeah, I could use a little more variety or this or that. But, for the most part, like all these like really unhealthy habits that people had, I didn't share them, it was just like, oh yeah, I don't eat gluttonously and I like to exercise every day. And, oh, it's all like a challenge to get off my ass and go fucking, Hey, Sophia of Athens, good to see you. Yes, it's been a while. Lovely to see you here. I'm doing a little random morning program before I get back to business today. I've got shit piling up on me, but I will be trying to do an open room here probably in the next few days. I just got to get all this shit lined up for going back to work and everything, which is supposed to be happening. Well, I should be on the schedule tomorrow. I have a doctor's appointment this afternoon, and once we discuss that, then I'll work everything out with my schedule and what I'm going to be doing here in the coming weeks. So yeah, kind of took a couple of unscheduled days off because I was like, yeah, if I'm gonna go back to like rigid structure, I should probably do some unstructured shit. And so I did that, and it goes as it goes. You just gotta like get back on the ball.
If he would just look at himself on camera from a year ago, no, not a year ago, from like maybe 2-3 years ago or whatever, and then look at himself on camera now, he would understand why people are asking him this question. It's not to troll. People are genuinely and sincerely concerned about, your physical appearance and how you're looking. They still think that you're a piece of garbage for doing what you did to Zachary, but and what you said to William and them in the car and whatnot. But you could have at least been honest. Like if you needed food, you could have said something like this, Jason. Things are rough.
Really, like though, they're always. It doesn't seem like they're hurting for food. It's Shanny's starving or whatever. That's one thing, right? But like they're always out there begging for money for weed and alcohol. Like that's been their main thing. Or I don't know, with Delta 8, it's like some. Anyway, but it's basically just drugs and alcohol that they're really hurting for. So.
we are getting money from
I mean,
people
like,
on
if I
YouTube.
tell you that I want money for booze, then okay, that's, but like, if I was to tell you I'm like sincerely fucking starving, um, oh no, I've got plenty of food though, thank you.
And my uncle is helping me, and this is the kind of
I
food
guess they did
that
make a new channel. I went and I subscribed to Shanny's new channel, but I couldn't stomach like 3 minutes of the video that I was watching, so I don't know. This is more fun for me. I'll just listen to G-Man review it.
eating. I don't really know what I can eat to gain weight. Like, he could have been straight up and honest, and he could have took advantage of the opportunity. But instead of doing that, what he did is he got on here and he just gave a half truth, and the other was just a bunch of baloney. The stuff that he wouldn't go to because Shanny's sitting right next to him. You know what I mean? As long as he's involved with her, and as long as she can't hear certain things, then he can't be in the interview. That house they're in is pretty big. Those rooms are very big. I've been in that house multiple times. Jason can go in another room. She doesn't have to hear any of it. It's just an issue of control. And Shanny, if you disagree with me, you know my phone number.
Don't encourage her. Don't
part of
encourage her to call you, man. That's probably, a bad
An
plan.
adult.
You
If
should
don't
block
like what
that
somebody-
number.
They got something to say to you, confront them. It'd be excellent for your mental health. And get it all off your chest, like you did in the past. But anyway, I'm not buying the Medicaid stuff that they're talking about. Jason's telling a half truth regarding his physical health, because obviously they're eating. Because I haven't seen them begging for food on YouTube in a bit. I think Teddy Bear, and we'll get to him a little bit
Well, we
later.
know Shanny's eating.
But I think Teddy Bear is feeding them, and Jules, who's admitted on multiple occasions, that she pays Shanny and Rev to say, and that kind of changes some things on how I view them a little bit with some of the things that they say, because now I know that they're saying these things because Jules is telling them to say these things. When they was going in on me and talking about like the cream on my back, and they were talking about me being fruity and all this other stuff doing that.
The cream on your back.
Just paying them to say that stuff. You know what I mean? So
Were they
'cause I
accusing
know
you
what
of being gay?
they would really say to me if they were truly and genuinely upset at me, and that's not the kind of stuff they would say. That's the kind of stuff I would get from the dork room and those guys. But anyway,
What was that shit, like 10
from
years
Jules
ago
and-
or something?
those guys, like I've been listening to this stuff for years. I know where it's coming from. That's neither here nor there. But the interview was very interesting. Again, it shows that Shanny doesn't want to take any responsibility for anything that's going on in her life. She doesn't want to talk about the fact that it's been, 4, 5, what has it been, 5 years since they left
What is he counting on his fingers?
Boulder, Colorado, and they came to Pennsylvania. 4 to 5 years since they left Boulder, Colorado, and came to Pennsylvania, I think. 4 years, I think, since they left Boulder, Colorado, and they came to Pennsylvania. And not one time did they say, can somebody please start a GoFundMe? And this is why I look at Shanny's audience and I laugh at them. And I think and honestly, if Shanny's audience ever decides to come into a room with me and have a serious conversation, they're going to get their feelings hurt.
You're talking about having a serious conversation between you and those people?
Because these are the same people.
That's rich.
Let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. One of the Shanny's fans is Frank from the Geek Room. I don't know how many of you heard her say this on her rebuke to Miss Hussey, but she said that Frank called her pretty, and I'm not making this up.
I got this fucking thing. Right. So it's a from the Golden Gate Bridge, right? Violation number, blah 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 blah. It's got my make and model on there. It's for a $9.75 toll amount with a penalty of $25. That's $34.75 plus a delinquent penalty for $45 for a total of $79.75 for one pass over the Golden Gate Bridge. $80 fucking dollars. I'm like, are you kidding me right now? Are you fucking kidding me?
I will get the clip if people request it. I will get the clip and put it on here. This woman's had the nerve to say that Frank called her pretty, so she's going to give him mind control. Some of you don't understand the significance of that. Frank is one of the many people that was calling CPS to get her kids taken away. Just like Jules got on there and tried to brag about how she was responsible for her kids getting taken away, and Jules got mind control.
Mind control?
And it's very telling, Shanny, if you're watching this. Why would you? And I was hoping Miss Hussey was going to ask you that question. I was waiting for it. Shanny, why are you giving mind control to the people who claim they took your kids from you? Like, I was dying for that to happen, but it never did.
Mind control? What the fuck is he talking about?
I think Shanny was taking a peek at Miss Hussey's channel, and I think that's why she ultimately rage quit, because she knew what she was getting ready to walk into, and that's why Jason, not Shanny, wanted to go on there and actually do the interview or whatever. But anyway, why would you give somebody mind control, Shanny, who
Why
was
does
calling
she keep
CPS?
saying that? What is?
They're making your life extremely difficult, and you should see how many horrible things this guy said about you on his platform. Why would you give him mind control? But then Shanny could say, G-Man, well, we could ask you the same thing. Why would you give Sabella mind control on your channel after everything that Sabella
Is that like moderatorship? Is that what they're talking about? They made him a mod?
That's what some of them will say. But I think there's a difference between when I gave Sabella, I took her mind control since then. But
Why does he call it mind control? That's just
I think I only have one mod on this channel, I think. 1 or 2 mods on this entire channel, I think. But the Geek Room has been opposed to everything that Shanny and Rev has been doing since day one. And if you go on their channel, they still oppose it. And I believe that some people on here are making extremely good points. There are some people on here coming after certain content creators, saying that they're horrible people, saying that they need to do this and they need to do that.
They're called lulz cows. Do you not know, like, after all this time, you are one of them, right?
And saying that you're obsessed with Shanny, and those very same people spent literally years, and I'm talking like a healthy 6 years, just going after them, going deep on them, just completely going in on them. And these are the people that are over there supporting Shanny's channel. And by the way, Shanny, I will give you one compliment, and Frank's not going to like this. Your channel is doing better than the Geek Room. I mean, if you really think about it, it's poetic justice.
Their channel's doing better than a lot of channels because, people get off on that type of content, They like having somebody to poke fun at, to punch down at, and most people in the world are more stable than Shanny and Rev, and so all of those very stable people, really like to watch unstable, unhinged people do their thing. I don't know, it's like
the people that once destroyed you are now making you bigger than they are. You can't make up this kind of stupidity, ladies and gents. Not even in a fictional novel.
I don't know, I could think of
The
some pretty dark
oppressor
works of fiction.
are the ones that are now making Shanny bigger. And when Shanny surpasses them in subscribers, it's going to be good.
The alternate title for this stream was going to be Become the Oppressor, or something like that.
Frank and Teddy Bear and all of them. It's not like Teddy Bear's building his brand. Teddy Bear's a nobody. He's a peon. He's a nothing. He's a pimp on Shanny's behind. He's being used. That's what he is. That's all he is. And he's being used. And the second he says something negative about Shanny with his main account, and he stops doing it with the sock accounts, and Shanny gains a clue, there's a little bit of a clue. It's a small, tiny bit of a clue.
She gains a clue? Okay.
He'll get blocked, and it doesn't matter what he did for her. Because Teddy Bear's stupid. And so was Shanny. That whole group over there deserve themselves, but deserve each other. But Shanny, I gotta admit, that was the funniest thing I saw in that interview. Not the interview. In your attack against Hussey, when you said that, Frank called you pretty. Oh, Frank called me pretty. Let me give him
Hey,
my
Nerdy Rodin, good to see you.
Here you go. No. Somebody came on here and said, G-Man, you are handsome. Or they said, G-Man, we like how you talk. And that don't mean you get mind control on my channel. I don't mean squat. I will give mind control to somebody who don't like me for keeping it real with me before I give somebody mind control because somebody called me pretty. And that's your problem, Shanny. You sat there. See, here's the thing, Shanny, and you guys want to sit there and you want to be respected as Christians. Let me explain to you what a Christian is, Shanny, just so that in case you forgot. It is a follower of Jesus Christ. Now, of course, Jason's going to say, that's right, I'm a Christian. But wait a minute. I heard what you said in your attack against Hussey. You said this is all about you. Finding out who you are. Let me explain to you who you are in the eyes of God, Shannon. Okay? You are a
G-Man can see from the perspective of God here, so let him cast his judgment.
Hell-bound sinner who needs to repent or you're going to the lake of fire. That is what the Bible says. Romans 3:23 says that all have sinned.
So evidently he's one of them hell-believing Christians.
Short of the glory of God, and that the wages of our sin is death. It is not the wages of your sin is going to be you're going to be a better person and you're going to have a better mental health and all that stupid garbage that you talk about on your channel. It doesn't work that way.
It means you're going to die and you're going to burn.
In your life, it would be about not knowing yourself better. It'd be about knowing Jesus better. It'd be like dying to yourself and growing in Christ. But that's not what you're about. You're a sorcerer. You're a witch. You're not who you say you are. That's why I constantly come at you when it comes to this particular topic. You ain't no believer. If you was a believer, you would act like one.
Would burn her at the stake.
You're afraid of questions now? You're afraid of questions. When I was on Hussey's channel, they asked me questions. And when I started not to like them, I know how to troll with the best of them. With the best of them. They know how to say hurtful stuff to me. I can hang with the best of them. With the best of them. I don't care what your name is and who you are. I can come at you just as hard. But it's like you don't want to take no accountability. You don't want to answer questions because people are constantly new people are coming to want to learn about you, and you just completely blew it. You absolutely blew it. And you only want to go on channels where you're not going to be confronted about anything that you did in the past. And now, but I like one thing that you said, Shani, and you have my undying support on this one. I like one thing that you said, because actually you said this to Teddy Bear, you said this to Jules, you said this to Frank, and you said it to all the people that are going to make you bigger than they are. You know what you said, Shani? You don't care what they think. And this is all about you. Think about that, Shanny. You just told the people that was giving you money. This is why I said if somebody gave you $750,000, you two would be doing the exact same things that you guys did in Boulder, Colorado, times 2. This Shanny 2.0 is great because this particular arc of Shanny 2.0 is going to show people that you were never a believer to begin with. There's no way in God's green earth you're going to go to the Christian community and try to convince us that it's all about Shanny. What are you on crack? Oh, actually, I forgot. My bad. You are on drugs. My bad. And you don't even think that's a sin. You don't think all of the cussing that you do on your channel is a sin. You don't think all that the way you're conducting yourself on your channel is a sin. You don't believe the way you're doing things when you go to people's interviews is a sin. You don't believe that the way you talk and handle Rev is a sin. Jason's not man enough to talk to you like this, but I guarantee you this, in the Christian community, I'm one of the few men that will put you in your place. Everything that you do on that Rev and Shanny show is totally unbecoming. You lie to your audience on a regular basis. You never lie. You do understand the Lord hears you say, oh, I forgot. You don't believe in none of that stuff no more. You don't believe in any of that. Because if you did, you would never get on your channel and say that you don't lie. Because you do. Stop it, Shanny. Cut it out. And Jason wanted to be on Miss Hussey's channel. Jason wanted to open up. Jason is crying. You can see, he's going to make a video and he's going to say something totally different because Shanny's going to prep him, tell him she's going to punch him in the mouth if he says anything different, blah, blah, blah. We already know this stuff. So get ready for the video response. And that he's for Shanny. Who cares what G-Man or anybody else on here got to say? Who cares what other people think? But we all know deep down inside this guy's crying for help. He's saying, can somebody come over there and please help me? Can somebody save me from this woman? Can somebody please allow me to go on social media, be professional, and
Channel
actually
Hub's on already? It said 30 minutes. It hasn't been 30 minutes, has it? Oh, yeah, maybe it has.
speak about things without being controlled by Shanny. And everybody can see it. You would think that Teddy Bear, you know, the guy who thinks that certain people on here are so immoral and such a bad person and whatnot, the guy who's got his own problems in his life, who wants to pretend everything is peachy and rosy when they're not.
Crimson and clover, over and over.
This is storytelling. Yeah, if someone argues otherwise, I would love for them to show me an example. Wouldn't that be interesting? All right. What is it, Wednesday?
What day is it?
It's Wednesday, September 4th.
Yeah, I
Today,
already announced that on my channel. Don't steal my shit.
we're going to go over, it looks like Tucker Carlson made a video. He did an interview with a historian, and the historian gave I would even call it a soft
Does
summary
he kind
of
of look
the other
hungover? Looks like he might have been drinking this morning.
side. The other side being little mean mustache man. And now everybody's freaking out. You know, they're all freaking out about it. You know, Destiny's freaking out about it. They're all, it's just a matter of time before Tucker becomes a white supremacist. They're all freaking
Tucker
out.
is a white supremacist. He always has been.
And all he's doing is getting someone on to cover another angle to all of this that people don't know about. You know, and you know Candace Owens is going to pick it up. She'll probably interview the same guy. I mean, it's unfortunate the way the guy looks. Like, he plays a perfect... Well, I'll just play it. I'll show you. he plays a perfect... he's like the perfect image. If the left side of things, the people who are always calling everyone like a Nazi or whatever, if they were to cast someone as the villain, it would be this guy.
And it's true. I've said this before. It's not helpful to call people who aren't Nazis Nazis. It's a false equivocation, you know. Just
entire month of September, coast to coast. We'll be in cities across the United States. We'll be in Phoenix with Russell Brand, Anaheim, California with Vivek Ramaswamy.
The more modern period, but this is up to the foundation.
It's like, could you pick
Russell Brand meeting with Tucker Carlson? That's kind of interesting.
a better guy? You know, let me zoom it in because I can't. For some reason, Twitter, when you open up the video,
Who's this guy?
it doesn't really. It just opens it up to my whole screen. This'll do, pig. All right.
Of the state of Israel and the lead up to that, right? I only covered that part. And so I didn't know if this was going to be a 1-episode thing, a 2-episode thing. I start working on it.
What's going on,
I read
Jonah?
about 6 books on that pre-1948 period. And I'm working on it for maybe, quite a while, taking my time because I was working for the Department of Defense at the time. So it was
They hate the stash,
a
but
side
love
gig.
the Ukraine.
Yeah, it wasn't even a gig. I didn't make any money from it. But, and after a while, when I started to approach the end of that episode, this is months and months and months later. Gun nuts that I refer
that's totally
to
fair,
yeah.
right? It's all specs and
I
hit
say
space.
that with all affection when
Yeah.
that's and so I would go. You think you've read enough? You got to read some more.
What is he doing?
And because there's so much out there. Like I said,
Yes.
that experience after I had read 6 books on just the pre-1948 period of
The one thing this guy does, we won't listen to the whole thing, of course.
Apparently.
I just wanted to show you this so you guys can watch it on your own. Is that this guy lays out a parallel between Jonestown, its cultivation, paralleled with everything else going on at the time, and how he gives like a month-by-month summary, I guess, in his work. I don't know if he has a book or whatever, of how
Evidently.
there are these like tipping points in culture and society that play parallel to each other but are seemingly unrelated. and they unfold together. And I'm not sure how far he goes into it, but maybe he uses that lens to go back in the past and show how these sort of bumps and percolations in culture regarding different groups of people unfold in a cyclical way.
You know, the Zionist Israeli-Palestinian conflict story, and I knew nothing, Tucker. I knew nothing. Like, embarrassingly,
what's going on, Sean? Thank
worse
you.
than nothing. Because, like, at least before I read
It was
the
the
books,
illusion of knowledge.
yeah, at least before I had read the books, I would just be repeating to you whatever I had heard, you know, Benjamin Netanyahu say.
So he
Each
gets
other
into
up. I mean, it's
Does
at
he have
time.
like any context where there are timestamps?
I'm really interested in the project that you're
There are
working on now.
timestamps right there. I can see them.
I'm a little bit baffled by it, so I'm just going to answer my own question. So you were working on World War II, which has to be, even more than the Kennedy assassination, the most written about event in human history. I can't think of one that has occasioned more books. So why World War II?
Well,
I
you know, I was
didn't
giving
think that people had written enough about it, especially the contemporaneous
Yo,
individuals
listen
that
to
were.
the sound of his voice.
For real.
It's the voice of white supremacy
Yeah.
and smugness.
Yeah, it
it's
is.
the voice of oppression.
Definitely. Andrea says this guy's plagiarizing David Irving. Yeah, it could be the case. I mean, you know, I don't. Plagiarism is like one accusation. I don't know that, but if he's just taking people's information or whatever, again, does David Irving have glasses and blonde hair? Does David Irving actually look like someone who would be cast in a
This is
Nazi movie?
Boring the shit out of me at this point. Is there? I don't even know if I want to wait around to see if there's a point.
For about
Shit, we were way past this. We were. Oop. I didn't even mean to do that.
You're not going to hear that stuff coming out of the schools. You're not going to hear it only on their channels or behind the scenes when they're done laughing at Shani. Jules ain't no friend of Shani. Jules hates Shani, but she has mind control.
She has mind control.
Teddy Bear has just as much contempt for those two, and so does the Geek Room has so much contempt against them, but they got mind control, and they're pretending they be their friends. Jason, this is the one thing I'm frustrated with you, dude. You don't know who the real ones are, and you don't know who the fake ones are. That's your problem. You don't know who the real ones are, you don't know who the fake ones are. You got some people in here who don't like you, Jason, in this community, who don't like you. Ella, I'll say that, Ella T. Petty, but some people were saying I didn't know how to say her name. But if you say it in Spanish, it's ella. It's not la in Spanish. So when I see E-L-L-A, I usually think ella. Okay?
The master linguist as well, yeah.
Anyway, that's neither here nor there. Ella's not that crazy about you, and she sent you resources. You, Rev, sent you resources. Like, you and Shani are so convincing sometimes to some people, not to Ella. I'm not saying that, or Ella. Not that. But that people actually want to help you, and then when they come and help you, you just take a big fat donkey on them. Because you want what you want. See, you're not looking for help. And this is the thing that you need to understand, Shani. And if you was going to see a real shrink, they would tell you this. You don't want real help. What you want is constant and continual pleasure. That's why you got to drug yourself up, so you don't got to think about your
hedonism.
Problems all the time. Okay? All you want is a constant and continual pleasure. You want to feel good 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And I'm sorry to tell you, life ain't like that. I don't have no continual please, not even in remote, especially recently. I don't have any of that. Not all the time. I have joy. And if your mother would ever took you to church, Shani, you would know something about joy. Jason, if your mother would ever took you to church, you would know something about joy. Neither one of you know nothing about that.
Take me to church. Oh.
Neither one of you know what it's like to be
I fucking hate that song, but
content in a bad situation.
Apparently,
knowing that it's only temporary.
Apparently, it's like what do you call it? Anyway, the song, it's not like, when you actually look at the lyrics, it's kind of like counter to the whatever. I remember we looked at it, somebody was playing it in rehab, and they want to look at the lyrics and shit, and I was like, oh, like, no. But it gives me all the wrong vibes. I don't like it.
Temporary. Because you got to do something about it. Jason, I want you to think about this. Would you really be feeling the way you were feeling if you knew you had $2,000 or $3,000 in the bank, and you can add to it a little by little, and you could get rent and security? No. You're not thinking that way, because all you want to do is get high and get drunk and get high and get drunk and get high and get drunk. And neither one of you are never thinking about the consequences for what you're doing, because there are consequences. There's consequences in this life, and there's definitely going to be consequences in the next life. But neither one of you care, because all you want is the continual pleasure. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 5 times on Sunday. Every time Shani gets on here and says that she only cares about herself, finding out who she is, blah, 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 blah. Every time she does it, she's proving over and over and over and over and over and over again that she...
All right. It's a break for the news. This is from the Richmond Post. African-American historic ties to blue jeans revealed in indigo dyeing workshop at Black Eyed Pea Festival by Daisha Williams. Oakland-based artist Rashawn Goods, also known as Bush Mama, will host a hands-on workshop that connects present-day blue jeans to the skills of enslaved Africans at the 9th annual Black Eyed Pea Festival on September 14th at Marston Campbell Park at 17th and West Streets. Indigo is a plant that is cultivated in a number of places around the world, including India and Africa. Indigo dyes were introduced in America as a result of the transatlantic slave trade. Many of the enslaved African people knew how to propagate indigo to create dye from the plant. Indigo was used to dye clothes throughout all West Africa, often referred to as blue gold. Wearing these clothes was a symbol of wealth. From the Tuareg nomads of the Sahara to Cameroon, clothes dyed with indigo signified wealth. Among the Africans to end up in South Carolina's Low Country plantations were the Yoruba of Benin, the Manding of Mali, and the Hausa of Kano, who were renowned for indigo processing and dyeing. According to Goods, the Europeans liked the colors that this dye produced and made slaves continuously produce it. Another crop that they cultivated was cotton, still something used for much of our clothing today. When talking about the historical significance of indigo for Black Americans, Goods said, slaves at that time were given a ration of clothes once a year. This cloth was very coarse and harsh to the skin, so one slave decided to dip their clothes in the indigo vat, and this was the early beginnings of what denim came to be. People will say that Levi Strauss created jeans, but we created jeans. At Goods Workshop, attendees will be able to use cotton, indigo, and denim to create patches that resonate them that will be used to form a family quilt. This fun and free craft has a lot of historical significance. When you go to school, you learn about slaves, but you don't learn about where they came from or what they brought with them, said Bush Mama. That's not part of the narrative. We brought so much with us, and that part is not shared. I feel that if we know how powerful we were, it would help us to elevate. That would help to dismantle white supremacy. Bush has been creating ever since she was young. Her first exhibition was in 1994 and was also where she sold her first piece. Since then, she has continued using art to create awareness within the Black community. Before the counterculture of the 1960s, dungarees weren't even sold in department stores, but rather Army, Navy, and hardware stores. They were really cheap, but sturdy, and only made in men's sizes. Eventually, blue jeans began to be used by designers and became fashion statements that can cost hundreds of dollars. Many Black Americans are unfamiliar with this history, and with conservative pushback against things like critical race theory, many pieces of history like this are left untold. That's why having workshops like these is so important. It shines a light on the parts of history that have been hidden in the shadows while empowering the Black community by connecting them with their roots.
only cares about number one, and that's it. Then later on, she'll say she never said it. That's not a mental illness or nothing like that. That is a compulsive liar. That is a compulsive liar. Like when I was friends with her, she felt like, just like Jason, that she has to know every little. I said, listen to me. You can control him like that. I really can't really stop that and everything and whatnot. I can talk to him, but I can't really stop it. But the buck stops here with me. I'm not telling you everything. It's not going to happen.
The buck stops here.
My mother didn't raise no fool.
Tupac, I believe, right? Yeah.
And my Heavenly Father ain't raising no fool. How do you know, Shanny, right now that all of your supporters in your chat isn't that one of them people ain't actually going through something in their life, but they're not talking about it? They get on YouTube to escape. How do you know that that any of them isn't going through something? You don't know, but you just make it about you. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 25 times on Sunday. You don't think about other people. You're a very selfish thingamabog. Thingamajig. A very selfish one. Don't give me that garbage. You never said this, because I'll make it my intro on here with you saying that you making this all about you. You can't get rid of it because I got it downloaded. And everybody
I believe he would do something like that.
else in their mama got it on their channel too.
Comfortable silence. Is it?
So
Okay.
I see people on here talking about these people are obsessed with Shanny. Meanwhile, if you go on any one of their channels, you can see all the videos that was made about them.
What does he keep pausing for? Is he like he's in really deep thought right now, or?
And it's just, to me, it's just plain sad. It's just plain sad. They don't like me because they can't intimidate me. And I'm talking about the Shanny lovers. They can't intimidate me. They can't scare me. And I'm going to talk about what I want to talk about, period. Because I only fear God. I don't fear a bunch of Shanny lovers who want to come in here and try to play psychology with somebody like me. I may not pick up on it today. I may not pick it on tomorrow. But when I find out what's going on, I'm taking away your fun. And it's as simple as that.
It might take me a few tries, but eventually. No. That's great.
But yeah, I thought the Hussey interview with Shanny with the rage quit and everything and whatnot was a very telling. And I believe that Shanny just exposed herself. Jason is crying out for help, like he's been doing for the last couple of years. And Shanny is only making it about her. And before Shanny gets on here and punches her laptop, cusses me out, and say that she's willing to go to jail and all this other stupid nonsense and everything, before she gets on here and say that, Shanny, ain't nobody making you cut your computer on. Ain't nobody making you make people mods. You're doing that under your own decision making. If you come on YouTube and you criticize
but
others,
that's just called impulsive behavior. I mean, we know that.
You criticize right back. You're going to be criticized right back. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. That's just how it works. It's just how it works. Let's see what you guys are saying in the chat.
Oh, here he goes, reading chat. Can G-Man identify his own trolls? We'll find out on the next episode.
In Summer Rain, I have people calling him. Can't make the uncle do anything. Can't help Jason. Jason has to want to be helped himself. They told me to stay away from them, and that is exactly what I'm going to do. And I plan on using that against Shanny in the future. And I mean that with a passion. G-Man is addicted to this drama, very similar to Shanny and Jason. Scientist Sam, you want to know why your comment there, Scientist Sam? You want to know why I decided to pin your comment there? Tell me this, your best friend, Broke Nut Silvers, He spent what? The entire Colorado. No, actually, before they went to Colorado. Matter of fact, before Shanny got involved with Shanny and Rev. Before she got involved with Shanny and Rev. Sorry, before Jason and Shanny got together or whatever.
So, wait, no, let's let him finish. Let's let him finish.
And when they finally did get together in PA, and when they went to Colorado, even when they came back, and during the entire time that they lived in my house, you know who was covering them? Broke Nut Silvis, your best friend.
He's just, I think I'm pretty sure Drag got a shit ton of money for doing that, and he donated a considerable portion to them.
You want to know how many different times?
Extremely interesting in and of itself. I think it's just hilarious.
You said that he was addicted to them. Do you know how many times you said that to the Geek Room? You was talking about them too. Your comment means nothing. I'm not addicted. I don't gotta be Spanish. I'm just telling you what it means in Spanish. It means she. And I'm actually in the middle of trying to learn Spanish myself.
Okay.
So I pick up.
I'm just gonna leave that alone. Yo hablo español, G-Man?
Jason stays there every day. He chooses Shanny. No pity at all from me. No, I don't blame you. Because at the end of the day, that's just true. You know, he makes a conscious decision to stay in that situation, and he's going to get everything that comes from it. He doesn't understand that there are other situations out there for him where he can get the help that he needs, the counseling that he needs to get his head together a little bit. Some of these government programs will put some money in his pocket. He doesn't have a clue what he can do if he wanted to. He really don't. If Miss Hussey really wants to help Jason, Miss Hussey should give Jason the because I don't know what part of Manhattan or part of New York that Miss Hussey's in, but if Miss Hussey gives Jason the address to the Bowery Mission over there in Chinatown, I think they help you for about 6 weeks, I think, or something like that. And during that 6 weeks, they give you somewhere to live. They give you, people at the Bowery Mission eat better than me sometimes. I went there one time, them people was getting lobster, crab. They were getting it good because people donated that stuff. They give you clothing, they give you job training, and you can get a little bit of counseling there too. And they can help you get clean. But because, Jason is not dependent on Jesus, he's dependent on the almighty and all-powerful and sovereign Lord of the beer and the wine and the drink, and the sovereign Lord of weed, and believes that witchcraft is okay. He's not going to get up and do anything.
Satan.
He's not going to get up and use that same energy he uses to cut his laptop on to get his life together. And like I said, he doesn't know what's out there. I mean, there are government programs. So this is how dumb he is. He doesn't even know that if he got away from Shanny and he's going to have to get clean in order to do this, he could qualify for some programs to get another house.
He can qualify for programs without getting clean, but it would probably help if he did get clean.
There's a lot of things that this guy can actually do, and it depends on the state that you live in, by the way. All states don't offer that. But I'm just saying that there are certain places he can go to, and New York would be the beginning for him.
I think the problem there is, though, that he has assets, and it probably varies from state to state, but you would have to, get rid of those assets. So, in that case, it'd probably be like signing the house over to Shanny or something like that, right? Declare bankruptcy, I don't know.
And if he wants to make the excuse that he doesn't want to get away from Shanny, then he can just get away for 6 weeks. I mean, if Shanny is so concerned about him getting help, why don't she make a stream raging at him, telling him to get help? She won't do it because this ain't about Jason. This is about her.
That's powerful insight, my dude.
Well, I'll tell you what. Yeah, Jason desperately needs help. Why don't Teddy Bear or Jules or one of their new friends show how much they actually care about Shanny and Rev, and actually go over there.
See, I
and
think
actually,
this is like over dramatized. Like when she says, Jason desperately needs help. He is going to snap and offer, or the other way around. Maybe, I doubt it. Those two are feckless, man. Like, I really don't think they have the constitution to murder one another.
Because every minute, every second, every hour, every moment that they don't go out there, it proves who their real friend was. At the end
It's
of the
more
day.
the online people that amp this shit up more than anything else. Like, as angry as she gets, like, punching a keyboard or some bullshit, you know, like, that's probably, like, maximum fucking, you know, adrenalization for her. She's like,
And that was yours truly. That is yours truly. But I don't want to be friends with them no more because Shanny deliberately used me, and Jason went along right with it. I believe I believe at some point in their life they sat in a room and they planned it together. And this is what I'm gonna think until Jason grows a set and gets on here and tell everybody what really happened. I will pay very close attention to that video. What else was said in that interview or in the Hussy Attack video that they did?
the Hussy Attack video.
See, here's the thing, Shanny. You always sit there and you always talk about how people are making stuff up. You even went so far to say that G-Man's listening to the wrong people. You know, these people got on here and they said something about you, Shanny, that you proved to be true when you went on the Hussy channel. And that is, everybody in your life, you end up stabbing in the back. And you said that you don't do anything. They stab you in the back. What do you say about a Hussy on your channel, Shanny? What do you say about him? That you're never going on Hussy's channel no more. And I know how addicted you are to some people. If somebody can pull this off, if you really want to see...
I wish I had clipped that fucking Darth Dawkins bit. I think Tom Rabbit had it or somebody when he marches on. I'm never coming back here again. And he's standing for truth. I'm not your friend anymore, Donnie.
The grand finale.
Rages out just the way that Darth can.
Being able to keep anybody in her life. You want to see the ultimate? Get Booty Beauty to go on there and disagree with him.
Oh, no.
The second you do that, everybody's going to truly know. Because when I say when she gets up in the morning, some people get up and they, you know, some people when they get up in the morning, they go shower, they bathe, you know what I mean? They put their clothes on, they go to work. Some people will do the same thing. They'll get a coffee, make a little bit of breakfast and go to work. When Shanny gets up in the morning, the first thing she does is cut her laptop on or her TV on. If the laptop's connected to the TV, they'll put it on the big TV. Boom, what is Foodie Beauty doing? She's a super fan of Foodie Beauty. She's a super fan of Truthfully Trisha. She ain't no regular fan. She's a super fan.
That's crazy. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, you got to feel bad for somebody like that.
She has to know every little tiny thing that's going on.
See, like, that's what I was talking about earlier. Like, some people have, like, some really fucking unhealthy shit in their lives. Like, you know, my version of unhealthy is, you know, is pretty bad. But, I mean, that's just next level shit. You know,
and she's in love with Truthfully Trisha. I remember one time Shanny tried to get me to date her. But, because I believe she was homeless or something like that, and she needed somewhere to live. And Shanny suggested that I let Truthfully Trisha come live there with them. Of course, I said no, because I didn't know the lady. But if Foodie Beauty goes on there and disagrees with Shanny about some things, Shanny's going to toss Foodie Beauty to the side. If Foodie Beauty
at least she's like going out for walks now. See, like her husband gets her out of the house or whatever. I don't know if she converted to Islam. You know, that's like, you know, a whole other thing. But, you know, like there's actually like videos of her like going for walks on the beach and like stuff. And, you know, I guess it's better than what she was doing.
Interview Shanny and ask these same questions. Foodie Beauty would be kicked to the curb, and then she would make mean videos for Foodie Beauty. said, I'm going to ask this to Jules, Scientist Sam, the new Shanny fan. I'm going to ask the Geek Room, the new Shanny fan. And by the way, Frank, I'm never going to let you let that go when you called Shanny pretty. That I'm never letting go. I'm working on the Geek Room, the movie. I think you know what I'm talking about. On the other channel, I used to get a conglomeration of other channels and whatnot, and I would make a really funny thing. I got something special for you, dude, because now I just heard that you got mind control because you call Shanny pretty. Okay, all right.
I can't get over that he calls moderators having mind control. I don't think I've ever heard that before. It's quite fascinating.
So for everybody that wants a mod, that wants a wrench on Shanny's channel, just go over there and call her pretty. That's all you got to do. Shanny's not the smartest cookie in the world, so just go over there and call her pretty, and she'll give you mod. Frank is probably blocking everybody under the sun right now who he doesn't like, so that they can't leave a comment. But the fact that we're going to be...
The thing is, I don't know how it works for you, but like on my channel, if I give somebody mod status, right, and then they go and start timing people out or whatever, I can usually see that shit, right? Like, and I can go and look, there's like a list of people who are blocked on my channel. So, and then, yeah, so I don't know if you just don't understand how that works.
The state of the Reverend Shanny Show is bigger than the Geek Room, more influential than the Geek Room. It's a more popular channel than the Geek Room. It's going to be absolutely great.
That list is very short, by the way. Actually, I unblocked some of the people I had previously blocked. It was only like the super spammers that got on the block list.
Planning on saying this the second they get more than 2,000 subscribers. You see this, G-Man? They're bigger than you. Yeah, they're bigger than my B channel. And? They're bigger than my B channel. What's your point? This is my B channel. This ain't my main channel. All right? So, Shady and Red's got a long way to go with that one, and they're not going to survive because it's only a matter of time before Jason says something that causes YouTube to terminate their YouTube platform. It's only a matter of time. It's hilarious. Just plain hilarious. But yeah, the Reverend Shanny Show more popular than the Geek Room. Tell me something, Frank. Who gets more live viewers? Shanny or Rev, or you? Pretty soon, Shanny and Rev will get more live viewers than BGTV. Pretty soon, Shanny's gonna get more live viewers than Supporter by Day. I'm sorry, Hater by
BGTV has a lot of live viewers. I'm not sure.
Day and Supporter by Night, Ira Alex. These other people. Pretty soon she's gonna have more live viewers than all of them. And I'm not gonna get mad. You ain't gonna see one rage video out of me. What I'm gonna do is, well, let's talk about how Shanny has utterly defeated the Geek Room. Everybody's beating the Geek Room. Come to think about it, though. I mean, maybe I'm not really saying much because I heard the Geek Room say, "Oh, we don't care about the channel." Yeah, sure. That's why you're attacking everybody talking about Shanny and trying to use that reverse psychology. Oh, you're so addicted to Shanny. No, you just want all of the airtime for Shanny. I ain't stupid. I see what's going on. Airheads don't get to tell me how to run my channel. Give me a second, guys. I will be back after these messages.
Is he taking an actual break? This isn't just like a super long pause to breathe. What could he possibly be doing?
Or she will punch his face. Shanny has no talent. Jason has no skills. Jason dates a slut. She man pays her bills. When Jason dies, Shanny will go.
All right, I'm back, guys. I'm back. I know you guys was enjoying the musical lyrical genius of let me stop. But yeah, I'm back. So that was the other thing, and this is where I'm going to end it on. Jason said that they got married when they first met. Now, here's the problem, because a lot of people may not understand where they're coming from when they claim to be married, so that people can understand this. Okay? In Christianity, no, not in Christianity, but I guess in the Abrahamic faiths, you're going to run into people who believe that they can, and it's true to a certain extent. To a certain extent, depending on the country that you're living in and what the laws are, it is true that the second you become one with the person that you're with or have sex with them, then you can declare yourself before the Lord as being married. All right. The problem with
it's definitely not true in the States. Is that valid anywhere else in the world?
What that is, number one, he lives in the United States.
Somebody you can claim to be married.
States of America. That's number
one.
In
California, common law takes like 7 years or something like that. You have to be like actually living with the person, like cohabitating and all that good shit.
Number two, the Bible talks about in order to get a divorce, not break up. Married people don't break up. Married people get divorced. I'm gonna say this again.
Marriage is a legally binding contract, right? That's one of the reasons that I don't believe in it, right? It's not just about the being, conjoined in the eyes of God or some bullshit. But in the States, you have to get a legally binding contract, sometimes with like a prenuptial agreement or whatever. And then in the States, you have to go through this legal process in order to separate and financially and all of that. But a lot of married people just forgo that and they just split up, and then they don't go through the legal process of divorce because it's messy and costly.
Boyfriend and girlfriend breaks up. In Christianity, when you get it, if you're going to leave your partner, it is called a divorce, and you need a certificate of divorce. True. Nobody's giving you a certificate of divorce unless you have a certificate of marriage. Okay? And they don't have a certificate of marriage. They are not recognized as being married by the state of where they're at, in the state of Pennsylvania.
I don't know. I would have to look into that again because there's common law marriage, so you could be legally recognized as being married without ever having been married by that process, getting certification. Right? Depends on the laws in your state.
They are not married. So, if you read the first 5 books in the Old Testament in the Bible, God gives what they're doing very specific names. They're having sex out of wedlock. So they're fornicating. They're committing fornication. They're whoring themselves to each other and to other people. Because when Shanny was in Boulder, Colorado, we all remember how she said she would do things for money. And then Jason would get mad at her and say that you thought, that you was out there hookering yourself and thought I was going to join in with it. Like Jason knows a lot more than what he's actually saying when he goes live. They're not married. That's one of the things that I wanted to talk to them about live on camera, because I can tell them to get their Bible, I will get my Bible, and all I'm gonna do is say, show me in Scripture where it says that you can be married without getting a certificate of marriage in the situation that you're in.
Does the Bible even say anything about a certificate of marriage? I thought you just had to be like, in the Bible, like it was like a ceremony thing, you get married in the eyes of God. There wasn't all this like legal jargon included, I don't think. Legalistic.
Yeah. What they're going to do is they're going to go to the book of Genesis, and they're going to say that it is not good for the man to be alone. I'm going to make a help for him. And God put Adam into a deep sleep, took a bone from his side, and then
because Adam didn't want to fuck the animals, right?
Eve
he wanted like a human-like person to fuck.
And then the woman was presented toward man. He says, "This is bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh. We're gonna call her a woman." Right? And that was the first marriage. And then that's how they're going to try to twist the Scripture to try to argue that these two are married. Why? Because they already made that dumb argument with me when I met them in person. This is why a lot of times when I make my videos, I said they say a lot of things that I don't agree with. They're not married. What they are in is they're in a sinful relationship. And that is why their relationship doesn't work, because Shanny doesn't submit. She makes it all about herself. Jason is guilty of only wanting things done a certain way, and he's doing what she's supposed to be doing, and that's submitting. There's a lot of things wrong in that
Wow,
relationship.
that's amazing. So it's because they're sinners, and Shanny doesn't submit. That's why. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Logical.
There is no real commitment in that. Shanny is not committed to Jason, and Jason is not committed to Shanny. The entire time he was on Hussey's channel, how many times did you hear him one time say, "Can somebody donate $300 to us so we can go to the city and go get married?"
I don't know if that was me or anyway.
They know if they get welfare, it's going to affect their welfare. If they get any kind of services or whatever, now they need both their information. They don't want to do that, and that is the real reason that they don't get married. They can get on here and lie and baloney around all they want. My Bible tells me to expose the unfruitful works of darkness, but that is the real reason that they don't get married. It's going to affect her benefits if she gets them. Now, if they're not getting benefits or whatever, and there's nothing stopping them if they...
Yeah, see, and so there could be some truth to that, because again, like, technically, if they don't have assets or income, right, they would get more benefits as a couple, but then, of course, they're going to say, well, dude needs to get a job, right? Because that tends to be the way it works. And they're going to be like, you have to divest of your assets, right? Because anything that you can sell for cash, right, short of the state giving you money, right, they're going to be like, well, sell your shit first, right? And then we'll make up the difference. If they're not willing to do that for whatever reason, right, that is an issue.
You know, combine everything and whatnot, then...
But I mean, the fact is, if she's living there anyway, they're already committing fraud, right? And so the state will just wait until the appropriate time to conduct their investigation and then go take their shit, right? Because the state can just take your shit if you're committing fraud and you owe them money.
And then there's no excuse for them to not get married. And before anybody is overly critical about me, please understand that Teddy Bear and them have given them $40 donations, $25 donations. They have given them $10 donations. We have seen money go to that channel, and they're spending it on stupid stuff. They're not spending it on anything that they need long term. They are, for crying out loud, wearing the same clothes that they have been wearing since they moved in that house. I mean, for crying out loud, Jules, if you're going to pretend to be her friend, at least tell her to go buy a new T-shirt.
I don't know. See, now you're promoting, capitalism and excessive spending, I mean, I would think, if you don't need, this consumerism, right? Like, if you don't need a new shirt, why go and get a new shirt? You could buy a gently used one, save a little bit of that money, right?
I'm going to try to come after other YouTubers because they're coming after Shanny. At least tell Jason to go buy a new pair of drawers. To go get a haircut. Some money.
Sure he wants, but anyway.
Away so that they can move out. Jason doesn't want to move out of his uncle's house. Jason wants to live there forever and ever and ever, and he never wants to move. And he's being unrealistic. What he better hope is that God don't have lightning strike that house. What he better hope is and what Shanny better really hope is that God don't take Jason early. Because if that happens, she's screwed. She's going to a shelter. I'm telling you that right now.
She lives there. Do you know how long it would take them to evict her, having established residence? If he just dies? Like...
Not like her. So, she's screwed if anything happens to him. That's why she's stupid for not letting him go get counseling. She's royally stupid for that. She'll learn. But Shanny, I'm here to tell you that this ain't about you. You keep saying you want to know yourself, you want to know yourself, you want to know yourself. You've been doing the same stupid thing year after year after year after year, and you've been getting the same stupid results year after year after year after year. You truly want to change your life? Repent. Go back on that interview a third time, and you pour out your heart, and you tell everybody you're sorry. You admit that these people have been right about you from day one.
We all knew that.
That's what you do. And then maybe somebody on here will have a teeny, weeny bit of pity and will actually want to try to help you when they see you try. But you're not going to do it. It's wishful thinking. That's why nobody even speaks that way of you. Everybody has given up on you. They don't believe that you care about your own. You keep talking about you want to know yourself. If you want to know yourself, don't you think you should have an apartment? If you want to know yourself, don't you think you should have a consistent place to live?
Yeah. Okay, I'm not even going to go there with this fucking guy.
My place wasn't consistent, although you acted like it. Oh, you were acting like, oh, you was acting like, oh, I'm never going to go through this, and I'm never going to go through that, and I'm never going to go through this, and I'm never going to go through that. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. And you're going to keep going through this until you make some changes. You answered the same questions. You answered the same questions. I'm answering the same questions too from 100 years ago. And this is why you shouldn't get on YouTube and tell everybody that you got the intelligence of presidents. But anyway, I'm going to wrap this video up, guys. You guys have a good day. I might be on here a couple of days from now. I might be going to Greater Venture tomorrow, so I don't know. So we'll see. So, a little bit of advice, Shanny. Stop it. Like I said, you're doing a phenomenal job exposing yourself. And Teddy Bear, you are creating a worse version of Shanny than we saw in Boulder, Colorado. A far worse version. This is the witchcraft era that we're in regarding Shanny. We have you to thank for this, Teddy Bear. That's why, as far as a moral argument goes, and you talking about other people, dude, you are so disqualified, it's not even funny. As a matter of fact, if you ever do take me up on my offer and you talk about my behavior, or Frank talks about it, or Scientist Sam talks about it, I don't want to hear what you got to say. Because you're creating a worse version of Shanny than we saw in Colorado. This new Shanny is not the Shanny. This new Shanny is absolutely gross and disgusting. Worse than what we saw in Boulder. And some people might not agree. Pay attention. Pay attention. You'll see what I mean by this. You'll see. You'll see. And by the way, Shanny, you owe me a little bit of money. I don't know if you remember that bet. You said that nobody was ever going to take your kids. And I told you that if you kept making YouTube videos and talking about them on camera, that they would, right? You remember that, Shanny? You owe me $40. All right? We'll talk. Later, guys.
$40. All right. Let's see what this fucker's on about before I get out of here. Ooh, purple's on. I haven't seen purple stream in a while.
Now, what I'm going to entertain today started about a month ago. And of course, at the time, I was making lots of videos about the final experiment and highlighting the faulty logic of certain characters related to the final experiment. And a little interaction with Will on one of his videos, in which he took my comment out of context. I kind of gave him the benefit of the doubt. I rolled with it, in which you will see from a comment of mine. But it would seem the last couple of weeks things have been said that have made me go, So now we're going to entertain it. Will, do you want to get this silliness started?
So, Level Earth Observer, who is also known as LEO, some people refer to him as Leo, and his name is Adam, has invited me to come meet with him in England. Super cool. Here is the comment where he invited...
I'm just going to pause it. Now, before I read the comment, I need to bear it in mind, this was written over a month ago. There's a lot of friction, a lot of pantomime going on, particularly between myself and Jaren, okay? So just to give you some timescales relating to this comment. And I stated, so what you're saying is demonstrable reality is wrong until I see your face. Got some very strange logic, Will. Are you going to address the fact that no one trusts Jaren? He's got no credibility whatsoever, and as a result, no one will believe a word that comes out of his mouth. Now we'll go straight to the bottom. If you really want to see my face, come to England and we'll meet in person. I kind of meant that relating to the top sentence about demonstrable reality and seeing my face. But hey, if you want to interpret that as romantic walks down the Thames, that's up to you. And I kind of gave you a pass, not because of the romantic walks, but I just kind of gave you the benefit of the doubt. I could see how you would get confused. But let's carry on.
me to come to England. Now, I am excited because finally, it seems, people are starting to understand the spirit of what I want with the final experiment, which is bringing both sides together, breaking down this wall that separates flat earthers and globe earthers. And
Just going to pause it there. Will, I don't hate anyone. I'm not particularly fond of certain globies that falsely tried to slander me based on their misunderstandings of how a tower crane worked, and it didn't impress me that certain celebrity flat earthers entertained those people and gave them relevance. But even so, I don't hate them. I just don't trust them.
together in search of truth. And so this invitation is exciting to me because we can meet face to face, we can hash out our differences, and we can figure this out together. Now, what a lot of people don't know is that this invitation means a lot to me because I have family in England. In fact, my grandmother was born in England back in 1925. So almost 100 years ago.
Wow, that is just fascinating. Okay, well, that's about it for me. Oh, Zyrax, sorry, I missed you. I'm doing very well, thank you. You know, show must go on, and I must get out. It's time for me to do stuff. Yeah, that's right. I'm doing things. All right, well, have a lovely hump day, everybody. Be kind, be well, and stay trusty. Talk to you later.